Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back. So, I kind of want to talk about something that I've sort of seen floating around for really a while, but I never really thought to make a video about it until recently when someone came through my comment section and said something to the effect of, like, oh, you know, black men in South Africa, you know, go for colored women. In South Africa, they refer to their biracial and mixed folks as colored, right? So, like the black African men go for the colored women um, for like sex, but when it comes to marriage and children, they go for the African woman. And that sort of got me to thinking a little bit, where, I've sort of heard, a little here and there, like, oh, like in America, I'll bring it back to the Americas now. Like, oh, light skinned women, some of these like brown skinned, dark skinned men sometimes thinking are saying that like light skinned, mixed and biracial women are kind of like easy, or that they have like kind of like identity issues that they may low key try to take advantage of. As well, just being perhaps even just weaker or weak minded, are viewing them as weak minded to an extent, right? And, disclaimer, right? Because I know some folks gonna come through in their feelings. First, if it don't apply, let it fly, all right? Second, a hit dog shall holler, all right? And if you hollering, then you just the dog in the crowd that got hit, all right? Also, this is, my personal point of view and conjecture supported by observation. Okay? Now, that's my disclaimer. If you can't handle that, then this is the time now to just opt out of watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next video. All right? So, let's get into it. All right? So, online, I've run across black men saying that, light skinned mixed biracial women are easy and that they are desperate to have brown skin / dark skinned children. Now, as we all know, there's always some light-skinned mixed biracial chick in the comments section talking about how she want a chocolate baby for some reason, right? And to be fair, on the flip side, there are women who don't want the brown skin and dark skinned children who are light skinned. So it kind of can go both ways with that. Um, Oddly enough, both of those women tend to end up with the brown skinned, dark skinned men a lot of the times, and that's just a bit weird. Specifically, if you don't want a brown skin or dark skinned child, a bit weird here. But this is light skinned mixed biracial women in the United States, so of course we're dealing with some mental issues already, right? And as well, let's see. There may be some truth to them wanting brown or dark skinned children because they may feel like, oh, they don't fit in and they don't want their children to go through that because being weak minded, and not having a strong sense of self and having identity issues will lead you to feel that way. you know as far as the whole easy aspect, quote unquote, um, think about it though. The most popular thoughts in the media are light skinned, mixed, and biracial, right? Amber Rose, Cardi B, Black China, and of course the ones on Love and Hip Hop. Like a lot of those chicks tend to be lighter skinned. Just putting it out there. Not saying that that is their light skin itself is a factor, but perhaps it could be if you think about it. Um, Especially if you grew up in a certain area like the hood. You know, in the hood, I'm not from the hood. I never grew up in the hood. But from what I hear, light-skinned women in the hood do kind of have some sort of, I don't know, like maybe leverage to an extent. I don't know what to call it, but are kind of like sought after by like hood dudes, right? And brown skin and dark skin hood dudes, right? So I think it could have some relevance and some validity. All right. Um, Also, like some light skinned mixed biracial women have severe identity issues, which lead to extreme self hate issues, right? And some of them want to be brown skinned and dark skinned black women so bad. It's hilariously pathetic, really. But then again, on the flip side, some of them want to be Becky so bad too. Like, some of them either want to be Becky or want to be Keisha, you know. And it's just, it's weird. And I think for them, for either if they want to be Becky or either if they want to be Keisha, a lot of times they do end up with the brown skin, dark skinned men because they're able to run the best game on them, because that's the only group of men they can really run game on as a collective, right? You know, because those brown skin and dark skinned men oftentimes deal with the internalized self hate that colorism produces within themselves. So for them, they feel like lighter is automatically better. So they're going for this light skinned mixed biracial chick, right? And some of them will try to cover it up and be like, oh, they date, all skin tones and all skin tones matter, right? Right? And it's just like Negro, we see you, we see you, like in a certain aspect. And to a certain extent, these niggas are weak-minded, just like these chicks. These light-skinned chicks are weak-minded. Right? Let's see. Also, these women want to be, brown skin and dark skin themselves. Like some of these light skinned women be in the comments section talking about how they wish they had dark skin. And sometimes I be calling bullshit on that, because I don't ever see these chicks darkening their skin. I really don't ever see that. If you really want dark skin so bad, why not just apply some bronzer or tanner or put on some dark makeup or something? So sometimes, they again running game, right? Trying to run game, you know, trying to butter up the dark skin, brown skin sisters, so that they don't mollywop their ass when they come through on some colorist shit. Also, they want the brown skin, dark skin woman's man, and they want her children as well. Like, goddamn, it's like some single white female shit. She just want to take over the whole damn dark skinned woman and brown skinned woman's like existence in life, you know. And fuck getting her own existence in life, you know. But that's to be expected. Honestly, that's to be expected. And to the light skinned mixed biracial men, don't feel fucked up about this bullshit. Don't. Please don't feel fucked up about this bullshit. All right. You really don't want to be fooled up with someone who has issues like that, right? Also, because I know some of you may be thinking, well, why don't they like us, or why don't they gravitate towards us, or why don't they want us, etc. And on the surface, it may seem like that, but as I mentioned before, the lower ranking a light skinned mixed and biracial chick is, the less likely she will be to be with you, probably. And the more likely she will be with a brown skinned and dark skinned man. The higher ranking she is, the less likely she is to be with a brown skinned, dark skinned man. And the more likely she is to be with a man of another skin tone, or even another race, right? Because the thing is, the light skinned mixed biracial women, they they know kind of like their market value, quote unquote, right? Their value on the market, the dating market, so to speak. So they're going to make sure they get the most for their value here, right? So if they're basic, they know they can only go but so far. But if they really are exceptional, right, then they will make sure they get with men who are on their level and who they feel are, can offer them something, right? Because think about it. Think about the celebrities we got in the media. Like a lot of the mixed race females and light skinned females kind of fall into this sort of pattern, right? And sometimes it has even surprised me. Like Sunny Houston, for instance, I kind of thought she would be with a dark skinned black man, but she is not. She's with like a light skinned mixed man. Um, let's see, Tatiana Ali, she is with a light skinned mixed man too. Who else? There's a lot more examples out there. Of course, we know the classic Vanessa Williams and Rick Fox. That one's a good one. Who else? Also Alicia Keys, right? Really, that was a surprise too, because I thought, especially based on Alicia Keys' videos and her love interest in her videos, I thought she would be with, you know, like a brown skinned, dark skinned man. But no, she's with Swiss Beats. And, I definitely like, what they represent as a couple. Definitely. Um, let's see, Elisa Bonet. Right? Shoot. And also a lot more who totally just hopped the fence and, went interracial on you. Holly Berry, Paula Patton, Maya Rudolph, Soledad O'Brien, Karen Parsons, aka Hillary from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, um, Meghan Markle, Tamara Mari, right? So it's not always as it may seem, you know, like it seemed like, oh, these brown skinned, dark skinned men have such a monopoly. They have a monopoly on the basic mediocre ones, they do. But, who would really want a monopoly on that? And, honestly speaking, the light skinned mixed biracial men probably could get the basic mediocre ones if they wanted them. Like if you really wanted one, you probably could. But as I said though, like garbage men, right? These dudes are like the garbage men a lot of the times for different groups of people. Like they get the garbage or throwaway women from so many groups. Even amongst the light skinned mixed biracial men, they get the throwaways a lot of the times. You know, just like an interesting fact of life. Definitely. Let's see what else we got going on here. But as I said, don't be fucked up about this. It's not because of who you are, it's because of who they are, right? It's because of who these women are, the reason why they don't gravitate towards you, all right? And this reflects negatively on them, not you or us, all right? As well, this is a group of people, a group of women who suffer from severe mental health issues. You know, they are not in their right state of mind, anyways. They are extremely weak minded. So you can't really put too much stock in what a mentally ill, unhealthy, weak minded person thinks. Right? Also, part of the reason that this all happens is because light skinned mixed biracial women hate that half breed mutt they see when they look in the mirror. Right? I'm not saying that they are half breed mutts. I'm saying that that's how they view themselves, or at least some of them, that's how they view themselves, right? I think, I personally think when some light skinned mixed biracial women look in the mirror, they see a genetic abomination. They don't like themselves. And if you don't like themselves, you're not going to gravitate towards someone that would remind you of yourself, right? You know, that's why they act the way they do. That's why they engage in the behavior that they engage in. Think about it, right? And also, mental health issues make people vulnerable to being taken advantage of, right? And also, didn't Kodak Black, didn't he say that light skinned women were quote unquote easier to break down? Think about it. He probably ain't the only one who thinking like this. He just said it. He was just bold enough and dumb enough to say it out loud and on record, right? But I think he may actually, to an extent, have a point. He might not be able to quote unquote break down the dark skinned, brown skinned sisters like that because they ain't going for that. But the light skinned mixed biracial women, they weak enough to probably go for that type of shit, you know? And also, think about it. Think about this too. When you think of a strong black woman, do light skinned mixed biracial women come to mind? No, not really. Perhaps even never. They can never be a strong black woman. It's just not in the cards for them. That's why brown skin, dark skin, men, at least of a certain like pedigree or whatever you want to call it, gravitate toward them, right? Because these brown skin, dark skin men are low key weak ass fuck niggas too, right? I really think that they are, some of these niggas, I really think that on some level, like they're deadly allergic to money, power, and respect. Perhaps not so much the money, but the power and respect definitely allergic to, deadly allergic to. All right. And honestly, I think that they are the weakest group of people in the black community. Honestly, if you really think about it, um, at least in some respects. I think people just get thrown off because of the stereotypes. But think about it, they consistently need black women to cape for them. Like there's some damsels in distress. They consistently need black women to uplift them and to coddle them. And they compete with brown skin and dark skinned black women. They really do, if you really notice that. Notice that. And this may be maybe like a throwback to slavery because of the setup of slavery where like both the brown skin, dark skin, black men and women were in the field, thus sort of leveling and equalizing things to an extent. And as well, this is probably why some brown skin and dark skin women be feeling like they can kind of take on and play the position of a man sometimes, right? And but like these dudes, like they're perpetual victims who can only garner sympathy and empathy from black women. Don't nobody else give a fuck about their dumbass bitch nigga plight except black women, especially dark skinned black women, brown skin and dark skinned black women. Because when this shit goes down, you really see them the ones stepping up to the plate. You really don't see the light skinned mixed biracial women all that much. Not to say that they're completely absent, but you don't see them in full force like you see the brown skin, dark skin sisters in full force over their dumbass bitch nigga plight, right? Like, but who else do you see? Who? Who else is stupid enough to empathize and sympathize with these fuck niggas? Who? Exactly. Other groups just use their asses for entertainment because they think there's some, you know, dumbass, niggly nigga clowns that will do anything for a Scooby snack, which they are and which they will. You know, but don't get it twisted. These brown skin, dark skin niggas know that without the brown skin, dark skin black women, and black women in general, but especially the brown skinned, dark skinned black women, they know without them, they ain't got shit. All right. They know that. Hell, without those things, they ain't shit. They know that. That's why they make sure to run game on brown skin and dark skinned black women in order to keep them on their side by any means necessary. It's really pathetic, just like them, right? Just like them. It's pathetic, just like them. And the same with these light skinned mixed biracial women. Without brown skin and dark skinned men, they ain't got shit. Think about it. Don't nobody besides brown skin, dark skin, black people really, but especially black men, give a fuck about them. To white people, they are subhuman garbage, honestly. And other groups follow suit and think the same thing. They ain't shit, you know? Never have been, never will be. Alright? That's part of the reason why brown skinned and dark skinned men and light skinned biracial women gravitate towards one another. Because they're both just like so weak and pathetic, right? It's kind of like, it's like they perhaps have met their soulmate in some form or another, you know. And again, this is just conjecture, supported by observation, my own personal conjecture and speculation supported by observation. But honestly, I just really feel bad for the kids that come from these type of situations, though. After all, the kids, the children, they are the future, right? And if they're being raised by these brown skinned, dark skinned men, if they even stick around to raise the kids, honestly, or to help raise the kids, and these light skinned mixed biracial moms, again, weak people raising people, I don't think that's going to go over so well, But like I said before, if it don't apply to you, let it fly. All right. Only a hit dog will holler, and if you hollering, then you got hit, right? um, but let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you kind of think that some things you agree with, but some things you disagree with? Do you think that I'm just being, you know, a big ass hating beige nigga? Or do you think that, I'm just speaking that real woke shit? Speaking on that real shit. Let me know what you think. You know? And also to these brown skinned, dark skinned men who say they like all shades of black women. If you like all shades, then why you even give a fuck? Just move on to the next shade, right? Since you like all shades, right? And that's one thing. I don't think I've ever heard any of these niggas just say they like light skinned, mixed, and biracial women at all. It's always like, oh, I like all shades of black women. Not saying that that's completely a lie. I think there, in some situations, it could be true, but oftentimes I notice there will be some brown skinned, dark skinned men coming to my like videos and in my comment section, kind of like being a bit in their feelings about this type of stuff. But I'm like, why though? It seems like you do perhaps maybe have an affinity or maybe have some sort of a leaning towards the lighter skinned mixed and biracial women because that seems to be what's triggering you about this situation. And if that's true, that's okay. I'm not going to shame a brown skinned, dark skinned man for, liking or having an affinity for a light skinned mixed biracial woman. But it's like, why can't you just say what the fuck it is, though? Because the thing is, when they like and prefer brown skin and dark skinned black women, they say it. They just say that. They don't say like, oh, all shades and all that type. They tend to make sure they put that out there. Notice that they make sure to put that out there, right? But maybe I'm just reaching. Maybe this whole video is just me making one big ass reach. you know. But like I said, let me know what you think in the comments section. Until the next video, adios and goodbye. Or adios and goodbye for now.